her gift. Without any further ado, allow me to please introduce to you Areanne. How are you?
I'm good, Kevin. I'm really glad we managed to put this together. It's great to see you.
Likewise, great to see you too. I'm so happy that we're able to kind of. Thank you for hanging out with me. That's how I like to say it. Thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So Ariane, oh boy, it's so hard. But the hardest part of those interviews, like, where do I start? So let's just dive right into it. And you have a very special, unique gift, and I don't know how to put it in my own words. So how do you describe the gift that you have?
Um, I generally call it trance channeling. And when people don't know what that means, I just say, what I do is I go into trance and create a space within me to allow high wisdom to come through and talk to you. And I've been doing this for, oh gosh, over 25 years. And every day I'm amazed at what comes out of this mouth. This mouth, it's not me that's talking, but this amazing wisdom comes through. And this group energy that I call the guides, they just know you, and they know what's going on with you, and they know exactly what to say to you in order to help you move yourself sort of out of your way so you can get where you want to go, accomplish what you want, move out of the way of the obstacles in your path, or even help you just clarify what it is that is important to you for at least this period of time. So I call it.
And it's so you're living, so you are going into a trance, correct?
Yes.
And
I have to sort of move my personality self out of the way in order to let this energy come through. So that's how I do it. I think we're frozen.
Whoops, here we go. Little technical glitch here.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
There you go. The channeling gods are listening to us. All right. So when you go into your hands, are you unconscious? Or do you completely lose consciousness, or how would you describe it?
I describe it as being a conscious channel, which is a term that a lot of people who are in this area of work understand, and that means my experience is that my consciousness sort of moves off to the right somewhere, and it's like being a fly on the wall. So I hear what's going on, I hear what's being said, and I hear the conversation, but I'm not participating in it. I'm out of the way. My personality self is out of the way, and so I've created this, all I can call it is a pure channel for highest wisdom to come through. I don't participate at all. I just hear it. I'm just a witness.
And so this is kind of interesting. So, and you have been able to develop this skill, or gift, or I don't know how you would describe it.
I call it a gift because it came upon me. I did not actually go study how to do this. It came upon me as I delved deeper into meditation and was working with a master. And it just kind of happened. So it's really hard for me, and I know it's frustrating for people to not be able to get an explanation of how I do what I do, because I just don't know how I do what I do. I only know it happens when somebody has booked a reading, or when I'm doing a group channeling anywhere. When I create that space, it always comes through. People have said, well, aren't you afraid they'll never leave? And it's never been a concern of mine. There's a tremendous respect between me and that group energy, and I'm totally happy and willing to allow them to use my body and my voice to bring this wisdom, because it is so phenomenal. So I wish I could describe how I do what I do, but I just don't know how I do what I do.
Yes, no. Right, and I've witnessed it, because I'm kind of playing a little bit, dumb, because
Absolutely. Yeah,
I've witnessed it. You've been on my other on the TV show, and
right.
I've done it live there. And I really am hoping that we'll be able to have you do that on this show, later on. But the thing is you actually share this with people, correct?
Oh, yes.
And how do you do that? Are you talk to us about that? How do you share this with people?
Well, I do private readings with individuals. I do couples readings or two people sharing a session. I do groups of any size, not huge. I do groups from about 6 people to maybe 20, depending on who's putting the group together and where it is. And one of my favorite things to do is teams, people who are in a business together or working on a specific project together. There,
Mm-hmm.
there's some amazing things that happen when I channel for that whole team of people who are working together on a project. It kind of opens things up for them and opens up their own creativity and creates a communication among them that makes the project happen at a higher level and a more successful dynamic. It's just an amazing thing that happens. So I do it
I've
on the
ne
phone
Uh-huh.
or I do it in
That's
person.
wild. That's so I never thought about the whole business aspect. So you are able to, so when people approach you and they want, what's one or two of the most common reasons that people may reach out to you for your, in a sense, for your gift or for your services?
People who are on a spiritual path, for instance, oftentimes want to know if they're on the right path, if what they're focused on in their life is what they're meant to be focused on in their life, and or they want to know, I'm doing this and this, what are my next steps supposed to be? Other things are things that people go to any psychic for: relationships, financial issues, um, trying to understand family dynamics and how to make them more successful and more peaceful oftentimes, because what the guides do is they'll identify a problem, or they'll listen to whatever your take on that problem is, and then they'll say, well, here's how we see it, and then they'll give the person or the group specific actions to take. Sometimes it's a mantra to chant, sometimes it's a prayer, sometimes it's a writing practice, sometimes they say, go bowling. I just get such a kick out of that. Um, they'll say, go bowling. Lots of times with people who have difficulty dealing with their own anger, they have frequently invited people to take up kickboxing.
Interesting.
But they will find a behavior or an activity or a sentence to say that is specifically created for that individual or that group for that particular issue. I mean, sometimes, like, the kickboxing thing does come up more than once, but it only comes up when it's specifically useful for that individual to take it up. And I remember one time a couple years ago, it was a family thing, and the guide said, put one of those tether balls. Do you remember tether
Oh,
balls
I
from
remember
school?
tetherball, right.
In your backyard. And there was something about being able to pound that ball around to each other that was going to help them express to each other more successfully. I don't
Hmm.
remember terribly clearly exactly what it was, but I remember being struck by a tether ball in the backyard. Oh my goodness.
So how would you say you would differ from like a palm reader or a tarot card reader or something that's one of those type of things that people might be more familiar with?
My experience with it has been, and I've had tarot cards read for me, and I've had my palm read, and I've had other psychics do readings for me. Oftentimes, those are very useful overall general pictures of a situation, or a possible potential future. With the guides, they're very specific to the individual. They just know what's going on in your heart and mind, and so they can just come right in, and it's just so specific and direct for that individual, more so than I have found other forms of psychism to be able to deliver. And so people who come to me generally are ready, willing, and able to do the work, because it's not a situation where you get to sit back and listen to uplifting talk, although there is that as well. But it's
Hmm.
especially with small groups or individuals or couples, they come because they're ready to hear the truth, and they're ready to do some work on themselves and take some action. Because if they do what the guides recommend for them, they always have results.
And
So
so,
go ahead.
oh no, so and people who are coming out and seeking your services for your talent, are the guides? I mean, what type of stuff do people are can people maybe request from you? Are you able to get in contact with lost loved ones? Are you able to supply winning lottery numbers?
No, that's something they won't do. And I will tell you why, because they've explained this, and not with lottery numbers, but I remember one time a few years ago, um, a guy came for a reading, and he sort of half jokingly wanted to know who was going to win the World Series that year. And the guides went into a 5 minute or 6 minute lecture about the impact of giving this one person that information, and how many people throughout the world would their lives would be changed or impacted in some way by this one person having that information. And it was not within their purview or their permission to play around with human beings that way. And so they weren't going to do that.
And
So,
I noticed something interesting in conversation. You're using the word they. So when you go into trance and you're channeling,
mm.
um, some the and you're in channel and you're channeling. I don't know else what the next word to use. Are you saying, is it one person that you routinely channel, that is your specific person, or is it multiple people?
It's a group energy. So yeah, it's multiples. It's a very big group energy. It basically always sounds the same. It doesn't sound exactly like me. It sounds slightly different from me, at least in the beginning. But it is this group energy, and the group changes. I think there's this core that always comes through, but entities join the group and then leave the group, and for their own evolution. They are serving us, but by doing this work, they are also serving their own evolution as spiritual entities, which I find really interesting.
Absolutely. So, speaking of stuff that's interesting, I have so as you know, with this new platform, I don't know what your screen technically looks like, but on the bottom there's room for technically 10 boxes, because we could literally have another two, three, four people invited in our conversation during this one hangout.
Uh-huh.
So, are you able to, if we had additional people who were with us tonight on this call
Hmm.
for a future call, would you be able to, without them being physically with you, would you be able to make a connection, perhaps, possibly with them, and use your talents?
Absolutely. I do phone readings all over the country for people I've never met before, and they're always amazed at how um, accurate the guide's recognition of who they are is. So it doesn't require sitting together. It doesn't even require um, we're probably 10 miles apart from each other at this moment,
Yeah.
because it's all about energy and electricity. And somehow
Okay.
they're able to just tap in. They just tap in.
So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but would you be interested maybe next month in doing another one with hanging out with me? But we will seek out and find a couple people to hang out with us, and maybe you might be able to demonstrate your talents, and we could have a couple people with us that you could possibly channel for them.
Absolutely, I would love to do that.
All right, so here's
That would
what we're
be
going to do, people. I'm going to, on the bottom of this video, when you guys see it on YouTube, there'll be information on how to contact me if you are interested in possibly being one of our, select. I'll personally select who we're going to let participate. Now, Ariane, this is another cool advantage that I have now that
yeah.
I was not able to have prior to on my previous show, is I'm able to do something called call to action. So you're ready to do a call to action?
Absolutely.
All right, so people, now you may not want to be part of my Google Hangout and broadcast your private business all over the place. I get that. Not everybody wants their private life all over the place. Trust me, I understand that. So if if you want to reach out and seek out Ariane for your own personal reasons, you can totally do so. How can people reach you if they wanted to purchase? I'm using the word
Yeah,
buy a session. I don't know how that all works, but I'm just warning you now. She's got to make a living, people. So work with her on that. But if that is something that you want to inquire about, how do people reach out to you?
they can they can email me. That's probably the most direct and easy way to do it, and that's Areanne, Areanne, at earthlink.net. My website is www.soul-alchemy.net. And at my website, there's sort of more of an explanation of what I do, and there are also several audio clips and transcripts that are free and available for people to listen to and read to get an idea of what it's all about and how it works and what the guides are like and the kind of thing they bring forth. So,
And so, those of you who are watching this on YouTube, what's going to happen is if you look right below the YouTube video in the whole, by the whole thing underneath the screen, links to her website as well as her email address will be posted there for you. So that information is going to be right there. So it's going to be super easy for you to get in contact with Ariane if you are interested in knowing a little bit more about what she does, or if you're seeking maybe to actually employ her services. So it's pretty cool because I can say anything I want now.
Kevin, let me just say one more thing about the possibility of people signing up for a hangout where I actually
Yes.
channel for them.
Yes.
In public situations, the
Mm-hmm.
guides are very cognizant and respectful of people's privacy, and they just know when it's okay to bring something up and when it isn't, and they will never ever bring something up in public that might be embarrassing to an individual. So
Ah.
so it can, like when I do groups, I've done groups of 10, 15, 20 people, and it becomes a very intimate experience because people just sort of fall in love with each other over this
Mm-hmm.
experience. However, they will never bring anything up. They have often said, when they're responding to a person's question, for instance, they have often said, there's more here that you want to know, but this is not the right forum for it. We should probably do it privately, kind of thing. So they know, somehow they just know what's okay and what isn't okay to bring up in public. So I just want people to know they don't have to be afraid on that count about participating in whatever we set up next month.
Okay, so there you have it. So you don't have to worry. There's some really deep, dark secret. It's not going to come out.
Not.
So you don't have to be afraid. But also know too that if there's something very, very major or crucial that comes up, it may not also come up, and you may get invited to discuss that if you want to. It's not obviously we wouldn't force you to. If you want to pursue that, you would be need to do that on your own thing there. So.
Right.
Good information, good to know. So
Right.
again, give us your website and email address one more time.
Okay. The website is www.soul, S as in Sam, OUL, hyphen alchemy, ALCHEMY.net. And the email is Areanne, AREANNE, at earthlink.net. I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. This is going to be so much fun. I will get this put together and we will do this. Thank you for hanging out with me.
This is great. I love it.
Isn't this the best? I know, and I can do my shows. I can be on vacation and I just do my show. I'm actually going to be doing the show from the Agate Beach Resort in a couple weeks. I mean, it's amazing. People asking me to hang out with them and hang out and do my show from all over these different places. It's been fabulous. So I'm so glad we got connected tonight, and I
I
am
am too.
looking
I'm
forward
sorry.
to our next adventure.
All right. So
Awesome.
I look forward to seeing the final cut.
Yep. Check your email. It'll probably be within 24 hours.
Thanks, Kevin. Take
My
care.
pleasure. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Be well.
Thank you. But you
Bye-bye.
too. Bye bye. All right, you guys. Another great fun. Thank you guys as always so much for all your support and tuning in. And like I said, reach out to me if you want to be considered for that upcoming hangout with Ariane. feel free to shoot me an email, tweet me, get in contact with me. There's a lot of different ways, and we can kind of make that happen. Until then, or until my next episode, have a great night, everybody. Bye bye.